Yes!
Hey everyone, Dante here with the Raging Geek, and today we're going to take a look at Dungeons & Dragons Dice Tower. Now this is a GameStop exclusive. You can get these at GameStop.com for $39.99. However, as of December 30th, they are out of stock. Now this can change. I've seen it happen before. You might want to check your local GameStop, because as of yet, I've always seen at least one of these in GameStop. So, something to give a try. A very old role-playing game from the 70s, I want to say. A big component of Dungeons & Dragons is the dice rolling aspect of it. This dice tower, if we take a look, from what I gather from the picture, you take the dice and you insert it into the idol's head, and then they should roll out below and know the outcome of the dice roll. Another nice feature about the statue is that it's made out of a poly resin, so it's got a nice hefty feel to it. The fire is an LED lit fire, so very cool if you're playing in a kind of like a dimly lit setting. Gives a nice effect to your gaming experience. So the depiction of the statue, as most Dungeons & Dragons fans probably know, is inspired by the 1978 Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. And you can even see this more clearly when you turn the box like this. And it's pretty much spot on. So we're going to open this up and take a closer look. I'm going to do a dice test with normal size dice and jumbo size dice. It seems like they're putting a wad of dice in the top of the statue, and a wad of dice is kind of like falling out. I'm hoping that you could also use an oversized dice, but let's open it up, take a look. This is Dungeons & Dragons Dice Tower. This is a GameStop exclusive. Let's take a look. Now before I open this, just something to notice: the styrofoam packaging inside the box comes with the D&D logo, which was kind of interesting. But moving on. So let's take a look at the Dungeons & Dragons Dice Tower, which is a GameStop exclusive. So the weight on this, as you can see, not too heavy. I can hold it like this without too much struggle. Probably around, I want to say, 5 or so pounds. The top of the head comes off like this, and you can see the hole where the dice go. Now, looking at the jumbo size dice, I do not think it's going to fit. I actually think it might even get stuck if I try to put it in. So I might not want to attempt to put it in, but maybe I'll go for it, who knows. And let's take a look at the light feature. Now, there's a plastic tab here that you just pull, and that enables the light feature. It comes with the batteries you need, but I believe it's, the box mentioned, there are 3 LR44 batteries, and those are the little button size ones that you would get in those handheld games from like the 80s. Let's take a look at the flame feature. Now I'm going to turn the lights off just to give a better emphasis on the light. So this is the light feature. Very cool. You know, not too obnoxiously bright where it kind of takes away from the ambiance of the gaming session. You know, it's a very warm and campy type of light, I want to say. Pretty cool. So I'm going to turn the lights back on, and we're going to try out the dice feature. Let's see how that goes. But you know what? I'll leave the light on. So got a couple of dice here. I'm going to cast a magic missile spell. And I'll actually do a side view here, so you get the idea of how far these dice come out. You can see even by gently dropping this die in, it kind of comes shooting out like a bat out of hell. But you know, this, if you have a you know, if you normally play on maybe like a felt table or something like that with some padding, this will probably reduce the distance the dice flies out of here. But yeah, you know, it kind of goes very far, and I guess you get a really thorough roll out of it by dropping it in here. But you know, it doesn't shoot out all the time, but it'll do it a lot. So I'm going to try a 10-sided die. Let's see what happens. And we'll try both sides. Both dice at the same time. Definitely get some nice, thorough, randomized rolls using the dice tower, so I like that. You know, like some other dice towers, I mean, it just seems like you'll get like a couple of bounces out of it, but with this one, you're getting a real thorough spin out of the dice and a nice randomization of the outcome. So I like that part of it. The oversized die, I really don't think it's going to fit, and it doesn't. This is what happens. Not even close. So, standard size dice only for the Dungeons and Dragons dice tower. If you were wondering, that is. I guess you'll have to just roll this one manually. This die actually came from the Dungeons and Dragons Magic the Gathering gift set. The one with Dritz Duerden on the cover. And I had done a video on that, but yeah, this is the dice from there. Now, I was able to find a semi-oversized 24-sided die, and I'll try that one. Now, it's not quite as big as the Magic the Gathering die, and it's a bit bigger than your standard 20-sided die, so let's try that. Uh-oh. That did get stuck. Okay. I almost had a heart attack there. I'm like, oh my god, it's stuck! What am I gonna do? Yeah, definitely it gets caught up at the end, but it does come out if you just give it a slight tilt. I'm wondering what it would take to get this to just come freely out. But let's see if I drop it a little higher. Whoa. And funny, it did get stuck this time. Oh boy. So, don't try the 24-sided die. I'm trying to see if I could find something to maybe knock it out. So, pro tip, do not use oversized dice in the Dungeons and Dragons dice tower. I had to use my Freddy Krueger chopsticks to like push it through. The reason why it worked the first 2 times is that I guess I just got lucky, but if you can see here, the angle of the dice caught the walls of the pipe where the dice tumble down, and it caught it in such a way where it was just enough to just get stuck, and you know, it was basically stuck in that position. It wasn't gonna, there was no amount of shaking the tower that was going to get it out. I mean, you had to push it either up or down, so I just decided to go down with it because it did make it down the first 2 times. So, but yeah, I managed to get it out eventually. But save yourself some grief. Stick with the standard size die, and as you can see, what I'm talking about here, you want to stick with the smaller die, which is standard size. You won't have any issues. But you know, if you can get this statue for $39.99, I really recommend it. It's got a great look. It definitely adds a nice touch to your gaming sessions. The light is great, especially when the lights in the room are dim. You get a great randomized dice roll from using the dice tower, and you know, just look at it. I mean, it looks great. I mean, it's definitely got a nostalgic quality. You know, if you've been playing since, you know, I don't want to go back that far. You know, I've been playing since probably the late 80s, early 90s. And I haven't played recently, but, you know, that's pretty much when I was in middle school and I started playing. Sometimes we used the, you know, 1978 Player's Handbook. Sometimes we used the 2nd edition rules. You know, that was more of our generation. But, you know, at time to time, you know, we've had people we played with had the older 1978 books. And, you know, it looks great, the tower. $39.99. Yeah, this is definitely a buy. You know, like I said before, I mean, they're out of stock online. I suspect that, you know, unless there was a rush on these, you know, during the holidays, I see them more frequently in the brick and mortar GameStops. So definitely something to take a look at. Go to your local GameStop, see if you can pick one up for cheap. On eBay, I see them going for about $69.99 plus shipping. So shipping's usually like $10 or so dollars. So you're looking at $80. So you're gonna pay like double on eBay. And then I've seen them in places like Mercari that for like even crazier numbers, like $130. So people trying to get a triple markup on these, which is outrageous. But yeah, I wouldn't pay more than $50 for this. You know, I suspect GameStop might get them in the future. I mean, I've seen it happen with, you know, for instance, the modern icon statues like the Dritz Duerden. You know, there was a time when those were not available on, you know, at GameStop for a period of time after they sold out, and then they like a year later got them back in. So I mean, this might be the same type of situation, but you know, you never know. But definitely a great buy at $39.99 if you can get it for that price. Awesome statue. The Dungeons and Dragons Dice Tower. This is a GameStop exclusive. Get yours today and make your gaming sessions that more magical. This was the Raging Geek. I hope you enjoyed this video. Come again soon. Take care.
Don't feed me oversized dice. I don't like oversized dice. Ah!
Raging Geek, Retro, all things geek, where geeks can be geeks. Raging Geek, Retro, all things geek, where geeks can be